Welcome back to the Beast Game Podcast. This is going to be a review for Underworld Blood Wars. It's directed by Anna Forster. She mostly has TV directing credits and a few cinematography film credits. It's written by Corey Goldman and Kyle Ward. Goldman has done The Last Witch Hunter. Ward has done Machete Kills. It stars Kate Beckinsale as Celine, Theo James as David, Tobias Menton as Marius, and Laura Pulver as Samira. Beckinsale has been in the previous Underworld movies. James has been in the Divergent series. Menzies has been in Casino Royale and the Outlander TV series. And Pulver has been in True Blood. The summary is, vampire death dealer Celine fights to end the eternal war between the Lycan clan and the vampire faction that betrayed her. So the movie starts off with a monologue about the events of the previous 4 movies. To put it briefly, there's an ongoing war between the vampires and the werewolves. There was a hybrid vampire Lycan named Michael. Celine and Michael fall in love. Celine falls out of favor with the vampires. 2 movies were spent on that topic. The 3rd movie was a prequel about the events before the 1st movie. The 4th movie, Michael and Celine have a child. Michael gets kidnapped and her daughter disappears. So this one tries to tie in all the backstory between the past 4 movies. The new Lycan threat, which is Marius. Celine is brought back into the vampire fold. Both parties involved either want Michael or Celine's daughter's blood for some nefarious reason. And that is the nonsense of this movie.
Let me ask you a question. Since I haven't seen this movie, I only saw the first 2. The first one it wasn't bad. It was just a movie that I watched. I was somewhat entertained by it. I thought the story was kind of cool between vampires and werewolves. I thought that was interesting. Part 2, it was okay. I think you and I went to go see that.
And I like part 2 better than part 1.
Mm-hmm. I wasn't really impressed with either one of them, but it was tolerable. It wasn't on Suicide Squad level or Blair Witch level for me, or Assassin's Creed, but it was entertaining. I didn't really have an interest to follow up on the other movies. I haven't seen the series since the second one.
Well, the 4th one was probably the worst out of all of that. So the main problem with this movie is that there's a ton of flashbacks and it's a very shoddy story. All the characters are double-crossed at some point with little motivation. As with Assassin's Creed, the fight scenes and the editing in this movie are a travesty. All the fight scenes do this. Punch or kick from one angle, cut, but all you see is someone hit the floor. And then on top of that, this whole movie is nothing but like a soapbox speech, an action scene, some type of confrontation, some backstab angle, and that's the whole movie.
Now, the director, her name is Anna Forster. She did The Day After Tomorrow.
But she did the camera work for that movie. And I like that movie to a certain extent. Mm-hmm. It is shot well. The story for that might not be the best story. But there's other issues with this movie. So the villain now is Marius. He has his whole angle that he either wants Celine's daughter. The villain could have been interesting. And he looks like a bad guy. But the script has him doing nothing but big dogging other people. So he's just like, he goes up to a bad guy. He's like, well, why didn't you do this? And that's his whole thing. And also, when he transforms into a Lycan, he basically looks like John Gonzalez or El Gigante. I kid you not.
Oh, man.
I kid you not.
That's bad. Especially because I thought like when they transformed to the werewolf form,
the CG in this was bad for the Lycans. And
damn, the movies I saw, the first 2, it didn't look that bad.
I don't remember it being as bad in the previous movies.
What you're describing, it sounds horrible. And plus, I think they used it wasn't all CG.
Yeah, it was practical at a certain point.
Yeah.
So there's another character named Alexia that looks like an Olsen sister. I was like, hold on, like, which Olsen sister is that? But it's not. But she has the same eyes. There's nothing special about the dialogue, acting, story, or the action. And there's 2 other points I want to make. So the next point is that there's a big battle scene at the end of the movie. That whole battle scene looks like a whole bunch of extras holding prop guns and swords and being asked to fall down at a certain point. This just seems like someone said action and everyone is told to fall down at a certain point and they just lay there. And I'm like, okay, When will this movie be over?
Okay, so let me ask you this: you and I both agreed on how Assassin's Creed fight scenes were.
Assassin's Creed's fight scenes.
Don't tell me it's better. Don't tell me that it's better than this.
Structurally, they were better.
Oh my god, that's bad.
But they both suffer from the editing issue. It makes you look like you're watching the whole movie and fast forward. So, the last point I want to make: this movie is almost Blade Trinity without the vampire Pomeranian.
Oh yes, okay. I think I deleted that from my memory. Thank you for bringing that back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, go ahead.
So, just to wrap this up, because this has gone on longer than this movie deserves.
Mm-hmm.
My score for this movie is a 3. Again, I like the first 2 movies. The first movie, maybe not so much. The second movie, a lot. The third movie was okay. The fourth movie was complete garbage. This movie is also garbage. The main problems with the reason why it is garbage is the direction, editing, and the script are silly. There is one decent scene in this movie that allowed this to get a 3. So there's a action scene where someone gets Mortal Kombat Sub-Zero fatality, and it happens so weirdly because of the editing. Everything's kind of sped up because people can't fight.
So that was the only redeeming quality, was the fatality.
Yes.
So if it didn't have that fatality, would it have been a 0?
It was close.
Jeez, man. Okay.
James, this whole movie...
Should this be the end of the series? Because this has been going on for a while now.
It makes it look like that. It tries to... The problem with this movie, the dialogue can be summed up like this. There's a lot of characters' names. You have all these British actors like Michael, Celine, this and that. And it's just going around saying the character's name. It's like David, Marius, Samira. Charles Dance is in this from Game of Thrones. And at some point, they go to the wall in the north. And I'm like, why are they doing this Game of Thrones angle in Underworld?
It was that bad. Jeez, man.
Yeah, the movie's terrible. And that's the Beast Game Podcast. You can find more of our podcasts at beastgame.com, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Twitter, and YouTube. And it's like, well, if I do this, I'm going to double cross you, and I have my own angle. Celine,